Hi, can everyone hear me now? Perfect. Super warm welcome. It's so nice to have you here for our talk with the very humble title, How Extinction Rebellion Netherlands Became One of the Biggest and Best Organized Climate Movements in Europe. And this will be a story we tell in memes. So settle in.
So, for those who don't know, Extinction Rebellion is a decentralized, direct, non-violent direct action climate movement.
That's a mouthful, right? Who are we? We are two memers that met at the A12, which is one of the actions we will present to you. And I'm Nina, I'm the founder of Meme Rebellion. And yeah, it's a meme collective where it's all about meming activism, meming our actions, and meming the state of the world.
And I'm Sepiola, my pronouns are they, them. And for a while, I was the national coordinator of Extinction Rebellion in the Netherlands.
And how are we going to tackle this?
So, in this presentation, we're going to talk a bit about the major keystone events in the history of Extinction Rebellion in the Netherlands. And we're going to do that through the lens of memes.
Indeed. So we will be historical, but we will also always link it to what we discovered memes can do for our activism. And we will kick it off with outreach. Because you need outreach if you want to get 400 plus people on a private jet airstrip to block the shit out of those private jets and the billionaires. And yeah, we did that for more than 6 hours. It was really fantastic. And Immelt made world news. And it was just really a crazy, wonderful moment. And I had the pleasure to be smack dab in there. In this action, there was a collaboration between Extinction Rebellion and Greenpeace Netherlands. And yeah, I was media coordinator for XR. And I was faced with this question, how do we promote this action? Because also need to know basis. For the longest time, I didn't know it was going to be private jets. So I was just thinking about how to make flying a protest-worthy cause. And flying for a lot of people is quite an emotional topic. It's all about going to vacation, going to see your family and friends. And so I actually wanted to make use of that. And I found two co-conspirators, and we started to make a lot of memes. Like this one, for example. And in our memes, it was always about who are we targeting? What is Schiphol, the airport, actually? When is it? When? What is it about? What is flying like? And how could you as an activist feel like if you are part of this? And we made meme dumps, so several memes in a row, and always included this slide, our call to action. And we did that several times per month, per week. And we had a great turnout. It was really so beautiful to see that actually me and those two people decided to do more with this. We were kind of done with the airplane memes, but really just more climate memes. And we founded Meme Rebellion, and very fitting to this whole theme of the Republica. We were a boomer, we were a zoomer, me, wild Tumblrina, and we had a millennial who is a depressed Redditor, still going strong. Then we also brought you our biggest meme success so far, which was another collaboration. And this one we did with a TikTok girlie from our XRNL TikTok channel. And she took one of the memes I made and turned it into this. I hope you can hear the sound. I don't know if we can do something with the sound, though.
Or maybe you just have to imagine it. It is with the backdrop of Queen's bicycle.
I don't know if the laptop...
Bicycle, bicycle, bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle, bicycle, bicycle.
we love a good meme, we love technology, and I hope you all had the pleasure of bicycles. And yeah, so this one really went viral. It was fantastic to see. And yeah, does it all work? Sorry. Okay, the last thing I want to say about this one, which is really cool, is that it for me really represents what makes a good meme. Like, not maybe the greatest meme, but just a good meme. It's about taking something that people are familiar with, something that they feel strongly about, and continuing the story. Like giving it a twist. And boom, you have a meme. But now let's talk soup.
Yeah, so for those who were quick, they would realize that this action coincided with the rise of Just Stop Oil, who started in the UK and became famous for throwing soup at paintings, which in its own right is quite memeable. But also, yes, it gained a lot of attention, but also a lot of discussion about like, okay, well, how does this relate to the climate? What does this actually mean? But for us, this was actually an excellent 1-2 punch. Activism was very much in the picture. There was a lot of buzz about it. There were a lot of questions about it. But then we came and filled that stage with this action. And then we really could connect it to one direct emissions, but also to a class struggle. Because with these private jets, it's these billionaires and millionaires who have their little toys and cause massive emissions, while we as like normal people have to turn down our thermostats at home. And of course, this is something that feels as a massive injustice and really mobilized a lot of people. And for us, this was like a huge success and also like a learning point for us that, yes, doing these direct actions which are linked with like causes that we can make direct demands of, that really has impact. And also like looking up more at like the skirts of the edges of the law and be more frictious and more disruptive. And it resulted in like concrete results. Because nowadays at this airstrip, private jets are no longer allowed to land. Thank you. You're welcome.
Here's some more memes.
Who of you knows what a lock-on is?
Nice.
We see a few for the others.
Yeah, the others, I think you need an action training. Everyone got their view? Nice. So we had 400 people trained in nonviolent direct action. And you could really feel it. Like after this success, we were hungry for more. But we couldn't really have seen yet at that point what would actually happen and what would follow.
Yes, so what we're looking at here is our A12 campaign. The A12 is a highway that grows to the center of the Dutch political capital, which is The Hague. And we were there to demand an end to fossil subsidies. And fossil subsidies are all these discounts and sometimes even like direct money that is given to these big fossil corporate entities like Shell and Exxon and Mobil, even though they already make massive profits.
Yeah, and maybe there to really illustrate those numbers, like now it's estimated that per person per year in the Netherlands is 2,000 euros. That from their taxpayer money just goes to fund like climate disasters, 2,000 euros per year per person.
So what we did is that we blockaded a highway. This stretch of the highway is right in the middle of it. It resides between the Dutch Parliament and the Ministry of Climate and Finance. And as you can see in these pictures, there were big crowds, and very often it was like really immaculate vibes. Like we had almost like a festival vibe going on. We had a water theme park. We had orchestras on the highway. But of course, on the other side, it was also those water cannons that are fun in summer were freezing in winter, and a lot of police violence as well.
Yeah. Then to get you into the full story, it started all into 2022. And we had like the first one, and then during autumn we had a steady growth period. And then we had what we now call like the incitement. We had core organizers being picked up at their homes, or in one person's case, they really were like, they had dropped off their kid at the kindergarten and were then driven off the road by unmarked vans and taken in for questioning. And people went feral. That was really great to see. So when the action actually did happen, we had 1,000 people show up, and we had NGOs organize a support demonstration. And for this one, we had 2,000 people show up. And this support demonstration also really proved to be so crucial for the success of all this, because it was a nice, easy step for people to see, okay, what does activism look like? And do I want to join an action training and actually get involved with this? So it was like a ladder, a step ladder. And we had rising numbers. We had our first water cannon, which actually was on loan from Germany. So thanks, besties. But yeah, I'm also German, but whatever. We had 3,000 rebels this time on the road getting arrested. And then on the May, we had the first, which is really like this water park festival vibe. A lot of water cannons from Germany, all on sprinkler, and 7,000 people that got arrested. It was really beautiful, it was big, it was interesting. So we wanted to build on this success even further, and the organizers decided to start a marathon, a daily blockade until our demands to stop fossil fuel subsidies were met. And we kicked this off in September, and we had 10,000 people getting arrested, and we had 25,000 people join the protestival. And we did this. For how long did we do this?
For more than 20 days.
More than 20 days. And then we did it. The government passed a motion to actually phase out fossil fuel subsidies.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, I have some not so great news. This coincided with elections, and as it is a trend in most of Europe, far-right parties basically won. And we had a new government who pretty much immediately broke this promise. So what did we do? Well, we continue blockading, and now maybe not with the same amount of people, but still with hundreds of arrests and thousands of people on the streets. And one thing that we now are also doing is that we are no longer announcing our blockades, because announcing them is great for mobilization, but like not announcing them is better for disruption, and we're now more on the disruptive side.
Indeed, indeed. Here we have more memes for your viewing pleasure, and I really love the first one, because there you have all numbers that were in the talks for what the amount was. So we started at 4.5 billion, then it went up to 17.3, then we had 37, and now we're at 42, 46 billion. So that was great for mobilization, but also just shows to me how important these protests were, because without those protests, we would never have gotten to these numbers. And I like also to compare this a bit to where Germany is at right now, where there hasn't been really, like there has been a campaign, but not this kind of push yet. So the numbers Germany has right now is 48 billion euros, which I'm like, are these numbers numbering? We have the same amount of fossil fuel subsidies as a country that is like, Netherlands has 17 billion inhabitants. Germany has 17, right?
17 million, yeah.
Yeah, 70 million, sorry. And Germany has like more than 80. That's 400% more people. And we have the same amount of fossil fuel subsidy spending? Those numbers ain't numbering.
Yeah. And I also like the other two memes. The second really shows nicely what the heart of the protest was. This is the stretch of highway. On the left side, you see the building where Parliament resides. On the right, you see like the tower where a massive lobby organization is, and like from the place where the picture was taken is the ministry. And also the meme refers to the way that we do actions. So we are always completely peaceful, but we do not always cooperate. When we say we sit down, that means that we're not leaving until you make us leave. And even then, if you do make us leave, we almost come back.
Indeed, indeed. Highs and lows. What are the highs and lows?
Yeah, so 10,000 people, massive growth. That's really excited, right? But it also had a couple of downsides, and that the big one is that there was like a big dilution of the core. We had these like original organizers and activists who have been there from the start, who had a really great and shared understanding of what activism is for them and how they would deal with challenges like police violence or intersectional issues. And then with all those new rebels coming in with their own values, with a lot of passion, but maybe not always the most capacity to organize things themselves, we've had a lot of trouble integrating them. And yeah, there was like a real chance that we were going to lose our core.
Yeah, so it was actually a funny and very powerful coincidence that the freshly founded Meme Rebellion started doing live memeing, which meant being in the action and memeing about the action. And I was just whizzing around, and I was always trying to capture those real moments, these real experiences and the vibes. And then we put those on Instagram in the stories and as like summarizing posts. And people really, really resonated with this. Because if you're in a protest where there's really like these water park festival vibes on one end, and then on the other end, you can just go 5 meters and there's people violently getting arrested. That's quite an extreme environment. And memes were able then to capture this, something that is hard to put into words, and actually even make it a tool that you can share with your community by putting it in your own story or sharing it in your signal groups and so on. And that was really so beautiful to see memes there also being a community building tool. And I had people come up to me and say, the memes are right now the only thing that keeps me involved with Extinction Rebellion. The only way why I feel still connected to this movement. And I'm so glad that we did these motherfucking memes. Because if I think about if we had lost those knowledgeable, passionate people, I don't know where Extinction Rebellion Netherlands would be. And so, yeah, just a really powerful social media tool.
Yeah, memes really had a way of putting things that are hard to put in words, still trying to communicate those. And that was also great for like all the repression that we faced, like all the pain that we felt. And also like the marathon, which was exhaustive for the system, but it was also exhaustive for ourselves. So that was also like a way for us to like vent and let off steam and approach it all with a bit of humor. And one of the nice things, you can see it in the third meme, is that for the big one, when we had 10,000 people, we had a delegation of XR Germany coming over, and I had the pleasure of having them in my finger, which I coordinated. And it was, well, I'm not thanking you for the water cannons, but I am thanking you for that. And also like a small shout out to Laissez Generation, who have also come for one day during the marathon.
Yeah, and maybe just then for the first meme, this is really a screenshot of how the weather was, the prognosis was. And it was like, oh no, oh no, water cannons. So yeah, we're now really much arriving in the present and also to the last part of what memes can do for movements, for organizations, which is regeneration. And I personally was very flashed. I was like, wow, memes are great for outreach and for community building. I want to start sharing this. I want to get more people involved in this. A bit like doing this now. But in this instance, I really started giving workshops. And it was so cool to see that, yeah, it's really fun to do together. It's really cool to see that everyone can meme. Like, I didn't yet meet someone who couldn't, because it's just so much about bringing out what's inside of you. And if you find it funny, that's enough. And also see, it doesn't matter the age group. And yeah, so while, okay, disclaimer, Meme Rebellion, the Instagram is right now taking more of a hiatus. It is now, memes have become part of our activist toolkit. We have a thriving Telegram community and it is being integrated in actions.
Yes, so right now we are one of our smaller campaigns that we are just starting up, which will hopefully grow to a big campaign, is the one for fair journalism. That we're gonna have an action for that next week, and right now already, like to get all the activists, all the people involved, to get them engaged, we've started something which is like a daily meme share that really helps. Like, well, on the one hand, you can just like sign up, disengage, and then show up on the day, or you can just like get involved already and get it to the front of your mind. And memes are a really excellent tool for that.
Yeah. And I find also really like in making this presentation, we both really agreed and like memes and activism have a lot in common. They're both about feeling powerful, about creating unity and just having, a sense of belonging. So if you bring them together, this is where the magic happens. More meme example, this time from the workshops and some of the, XR vibes of, regeneration and engaging with the deeper purposes of what it means to do this kind of activism. Where is XRNL today, though?
Yeah, so I already said a little bit about this one campaign that we're working on. But something else that just recently happened that you might have heard is that last week the Netherlands had its biggest protest in the last 20 years. It was 100,000 people on the street for Palestine, and it was organized by Oxfam Novib. Now, while Oxfam Novib was organizing this, they did not expect to get this much people. But as the sign-ups were like increasing as the date came closer, they were panicking a little bit. It was like, oh, how are we going to deal with this? There's going to be so many people. And then, who are they going to call? Who has experience and capacity to deal with these kinds of crowds? Yeah, they called us, and we set up a team of police liaisons and well-being people who could help steward during the demonstration and the march, and that helped resulted into like it being a massive success. And that is just like an example of like where XR right now in the Netherlands is within civil society, where we are very well established and very dependable. And on the flip side, those big NGOs also support us in our actions.
So this was a glimpse into what memes can do. And we do hope you take away something about it, which is it's great for outreach, it's great for community building, and it's great to regenerate yourself and whoever you want to meme with. And of course, because we're activists, we also do want to tell you disruptive actions are powerful. They can work. They can also just move stuff. If we come together, magic, all kinds of magic, like meme magic, can happen. And there's many ways to join the rebellion. Amongst others, little shout out, Extinction Rebellion Germany, like if you felt strongly about the private jets, they're doing this now, which is, to demilitarize, and to debillionarize society and put that money to better use and not just blow it up for private jet tours. Which, by the way, in Germany, the last time I checked, it was still the most flown private jet route is between Hamburg and Sylt. So, thank you, besties, for listening.
Yeah, thank you all so much for coming. You can scan the QR code for a link tree to the meme resources that we use, also to the website of Extinction Rebellion in the Netherlands, and of course the one for Extinction Rebellion Germany and for their demilitarisering. I butchered that, I'm sorry. Campaign. And of course, we will be here around for a little bit more. So if we have some stickers, if you want them, and some flyers for the campaign that Germany is now hosting. And if you want to meme with us, that's also amazing. Yeah, we were literally going to stay here a bit, but I think we also do have some time for questions. 5 minutes. So if you do have some questions.
Hello. First of all, thank you so much for the amazing actions. We stood in awe and respect watching it from here, from Germany. Just a fact check. The biggest and baddest movement is, of course, Fridays for Future Germany. But in any case, hey, maybe to reflect on your actions, what kind of impact do you think your actions had on that unfortunate election? Do you think it dissuade people to vote even more for the right parties? Or did you unintentionally mobilize the sleepy ultra-conservative
Yeah, I think that's always. There's no like empirical answer that I can give to that. On the one hand, I can imagine that we really helped set like these discussions on in the public mind. Like we already said, like the number about of the amount that we actually are spending on fossil subsidies was completely unknown until we started this campaign. And then it became like something that people were aware of, and were like, every time there was like budget cuts that were being discussed, people were also like, from, okay, why are we doing budget cuts when we are spending so much on subsidies for fossil companies? So I think that it also had an impact. But yeah, I can imagine that for some people it was also like it radicalized them the other way around. But I think it's hard to say that that is the only reason that happened. One example is like for why we are now also doing this campaign for fair journalism is that you very often see this like false balance where journalists feel like, oh, we need to give breath to both sides, which can result in like something like migration becoming a massive topic, even though like in hard numbers it feels like, well, like in Germany, when under Merkel, that was a much bigger discussion. It felt like, why is this a discussion again? But yeah, that is. There are so many factors that play into this. Like I can't give an empirical answer on it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you both.